So, hello, good day sa inyong lahat. Okay, so we are now going to discuss hyperbola. So, let's review first the definition of hyperbola. Hyperbola is the set of all points P, the difference, okay? So, the difference of whose distances from two specified points, F1 and F2, this is our foci. Okay, this is our foci, is a constant number. So, they are almost similar with the ellipse, but the difference is that ellipse is the sum, no? While hyperbola is the difference. So, whose distances from the two specified points and the point on the hyperbola is a constant number. So, first we are going to discuss some examples about hyperbola where the center is located at the origin. So, the equation of the hyperbola, if the center is located at the origin, is given by x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared equals 1. This hyperbola is horizontal. Okay? And then, vertical parabola will be mauuna yung y squared over a squared minus x squared over b squared equals 1. So, this is a vertical hyperbola. So, ang indicator natin kung vertical or horizontal is kung sino yung bearer ng negative sign, no? Dito, nauna yung x squared, tapos ang may negative sign is yung y, so horizontal. If the bearer of the negative sign, or let's say for example, nauna si y squared, bearer of the negative sign is x squared, so therefore this is a vertical hyperbola. So, we now move on to example 1. Example 1 tayo. So, determine the foci, the vertices, asymptote, and the graph of the hyperbola with an equation x squared over 9 minus y squared over 7 equals 1. So, again, when we are dealing with hyperbola, it doesn't matter sino yung bearer ng biggest denominator katulad ng ellipse. No, hindi mag-matter kung sino dito yung biggest denominator, either itong nasa x squared or nasa y squared. We are going to take note kung sino ang nauna at kung sino yung bearer ng negative sign. In this case, nauna is x squared. The bearer of negative sign is the y. Okay? So, this means this parabola is more likely a horizontal hyperbola. Okay? So, ganyan yung ating magiging prospect na itsura ng ating parabola. Horizontal. Kumbaga, located yung ating principal axis at ang ating focus and vertices sa x-axis kapag sinabi mong horizontal. So, how do we find the foci, the vertices, asymptotes, and the graph of this hyperbola? First, you are going to find what? The values of your A, your B, and your C. Okay? So, in here, the value of our A is already given. So, yung naunang number, that is automatic, the value of your A. So, our A squared rather. So, A squared is equal to 9. 9, this is 9. More likely, our A is equal to 3. Okay? Next is we have our B squared. Okay, so we have our B squared. The value of our B squared is 7. So, our B will now become square root of 7. Next is, we need to look for our C. So, we don't know our C. But we have our A, we have our A, and we have our B, so we can solve for C. So, to solve for C, we are going to make use of the equation C is equal to the square root of a squared plus b squared. Make use of the Pythagorean theorem, no? So c becomes square root of what is your a squared? That is 9. What is your b squared? That is 7. So c is equal to square root of 16. So c is equal to 4. So we have now our a, we have our b, we have our c. We are going to make use of this for us to get the foci, the vertices, and the asymptotes. So next, we are going to solve for the foci. Solve for, let's have here our foci 1. Our foci 1 would be negative c, 0. Our foci 2 would be c and 0. So these are the coordinates of our foci. We are going to make use of the value for our c. So the value of our c is 4. So just plug in the value of our c's to get our foci 1. This will not be negative 4, 0. Foci 2, this becomes 4, 0. Okay? Next is we are going to look for our vertices. Okay? By the way, we don't forget the center, no, because this is important. Center is 0, 0 or at the origin. Why do we consider that the center is at the origin? Because yan mo lang partner yung ating x squared at saka y squared. Automatic, pag ganyan yung itsura niya, origin yung ating center. Next vertices, v1. So this is the coordinate for our v1 is negative a and 0. For our v2 is a positive a and 0. So this becomes v1 is negative 3, 0. Our v2 is positive 3, 0. What's next? The asymptote. We are going to look for the asymptote. So the formula for our asymptote is simply y is equal to plus minus b over ax. So ganito ang ating asymptote kapag nasa center, nasa origin ng center. Kita ba? Nasa origin yung center. Tapos, horizontal yung ating hyperbola. So, mauna yung B kaysa sa A kapag horizontal. So, plug in mo lang yung ating values, no, ng ating A and B. So, we now have the equation of our hyperbola. Y equals plus minus, what is your B? That is square root of 7 over what is your A? That is 3x. So, this will now be the equations. Equations, dalawa siya kasi isang positive at saka isang negative. No? Equations of our asymptotes. Dalawa kasi yung asymptote ng ating hyperbola. Mamaya malalaman ninyo. So, after yan, we are now going to graph. Okay, so, isa ang graphing sa mahirap na part ng ating hyperbola. So, those are the values na, no? So, those are the values. I'm gonna graph now the hyperbola. So, to graph the hyperbola, of course, I need the following features. Okay? First is you are going to graph the center and then the vertices. So, sila yung unahin. So, first, make a Cartesian coordinate system. And then, locate your center that is at the origin. Kita ba? Okay, dito na lang sa... Okay, so ayan. Okay, ay ganyan yung position. So, centers, 0, 0. So, now the vertices... The vertices, ano yung ating vertices? Okay, the vertices are negative 3, 0. So, 1, 2, 3, negative 3, 0. Positive 3, 1, 2, 3. So, this is our vertices. Next is yung value ng ating B. Okay, after nito, dalawa, the value of our B, square root of 7, this is approximately equal to, what's the value for this? 2.7. Okay, approximately equal to 2.7. Why do we need to get the value of our B? Because that is our conjugate axis, no? Kailangan natin siya para makagawa tayo ng rectangle. So, ibig sabihin para makagawa ng rectangle, kailangan mo ang value ng vertices at saka nitong B. So, since the vertices is located on the x-axis, pahiga siya, yung B natin is up and down. Okay? So, locate mo itong 2.7. 1, 2, 3. Ito yung 3. So, ang 2.7 more likely nandito. Okay? Another one. 1, 2, 3. So, ang 2.7 more likely nandito siya. So, with this, you are going to make a rectangle. So, meron ka ng length at saka meron ka ng width. Okay? So, gawa ka ng rectangle. In making the rectangle, make sure just to, adjust the length hanggang vertices lang siya, Tapos yung pag mag-draw ka na ng side ng rectangle mo, hanggang lang siya, conjugate lang siya. Okay? Ganyan lang siya. Oh. Okay. So, ayan na. Meron ka na ang rectangle. Okay? So, assume that that is a perfect rectangle. So, ito yung 2.7 mo ha. Ito yung 2.7. So, after drawing the rectangle, you are going to draw the diagonals of your rectangle. Okay? So, this is the diagonal. Diagonal 1. The other one is, this would be the diagonal 2. Okay, after drawing the diagonal, you are going to extend this one. You are going to extend this one. Okay, you are going to extend this one outside. Extend this diagonal. So, after extending, this will serve as our asymptote. So, this will now be the asymptote. So, hindi mo na i-plot yung equation, no? Hindi mo na ito ipa-plot pa sa table of values, tapos ilolocate isa-isa kasi mahirap na yon. Isang way para madaling masulat or madraw itong asymptote is that you are just going to extend the diagonals of your rectangle. Rectangle form by connecting the lines, no, mula sa vertex mo at saka doon sa B or the conjugate. Okay? After that, after extending, you locate your focus. So your focus is -4. So this is -4. This one is +4. So this will be your focus 2. This is your focus 1. So, locate your focus. After that, you are going to draw a smooth curve. So, na-locate na natin ang center, na-locate na natin ang focus, na-locate na natin vertices, nakatulong na or na-locate na din yung ating B. We already have our auxiliary triangle. We already extend the diagonals of the rectangle which serve as asymptotes kung saan papunta ang graph mo pero hindi mag-touch dyan. No? Papunta ang hyperbola mo dyan, yung curve ng hyperbola rather, pero hindi mag-touch. Okay? Yan yung guide natin when we draw our hyperbola. So, we are going to first draw the first branch of our parabola. How to draw the first branch of our hyperbola? You are going to start from the vertex. Then you are going to follow your asymptotes. Okay? Then, the other side. Okay? From the vertex, just follow or approach your asymptote, but don't let your graph touch your asymptotes. No. Then on the other branch of your hyperbola, we are going to do the same process. From the vertex, you are going to draw a smooth curve. Smooth curve of your hyperbola approaching the asymptote, but will never touch the asymptote, of course. So, ganyan din sa baba. Do it like this. Okay, so this is now the graph of your hyperbola. So, let's have the review. This is the equation. So, for you to get the foci, the vertices, and the asymptote of this hyperbola, you are going to find first A, B, C, because we are going to make use the values of this to get the foci, the vertices, the conjugate, and the asymptote. So, to get A, simply identify A, that is 9. Kung ano yung nauna, yun na yung A. Then, followed by your B, which is yung sumunod, and that is 7. So, hindi yan siya A automatic, but that is A squared, okay? That is A squared. So, A squared equals 9. Your A is 3. B squared would be 7, so your B is square root of 7. We don't have the value for C, but we have the values for your A and B, so we can solve for C. Solving for C, we are going to make use of the formula C equals square root of A squared plus B squared. C is equal to square root of 9 plus 7, and then this becomes square root of 16. The square root of 16 is 4. You now have your C. Complete na yung A, B, C. Then, solve for the features. The features are the following: foci, vertices, and asymptotes. So, to solve for the foci, where if the center is located at the origin, simply lang, ganito lang siya. Mauuna yung may value yung ating x, no? X coordinate, kasi nga, this is horizontal hyperbola. So, mauna yung C, tapos 0 naman yung value ng ating y coordinate. So, substitute the value of your C, which is 4. So, we have negative 4, 0. Coordinate for the foci, focus 1. 4, positive 4, 0. Negative 4, 0. Positive 4, 0 for your foci, focus 2. Same goes for the vertices, but for the vertices, we are going to make use of the value of our A. Our A is 3, so ayan na. Negative 3, 0. And then positive 3, 0. Coordinates for our vertices. Next, the asymptote, simply lang din, just substitute the value of your B and your A. So, this asymptote is the align, no? Equation of align, linear equation, because our asymptotes would be two intersecting lines when we draw the graph. Okay, so yan siya. Then, make use of your B, okay, the value of your B, which is square root of 7, approximately equal to 2.7. We are going to make use of this for us to create our rectangle. Okay, or auxiliary rectangle. Now, to graph, of course, plot first the center, followed by the vertices, then get you the value for your B, or locate the value for your B, which is 2.7, up and down. Automatic yan na up and down kasi pahiga yung iyong vertices. So, patay yung iyong conjugate. So, then dito si 2.7 sa isang 2.7 sa taas, isang 2.7 sa baba. Then, draw your rectangle. Okay, of course, you need to be careful when drawing your rectangle. Limit niya is yung vertices sa gilid. Yung sa taas naman, limit niya yung value ng B. After that, you are going to draw the diagonals of the rectangle. Diagonals. After drawing the diagonals, you are going to extend this one outside. Extend, extend. After extending, locate your foci. Focus 1, focus 2. And then, draw the smooth curve, no? Ng ating branches for the hyperbola. Draw the smooth curve. Smooth curve, smooth curve. And then, there you have the graph of your hyperbola with the equation x squared over 9 minus y squared over 7 equals 1. Okay? Next. Example number 2. Example number 2, still, center at the origin pa din tayo. Later, we are going to deal when the center is not at the origin na. For now, center at the origin. Example 2, find the standard equation of your hyperbola given focus 1 is negative 3, 0. And focus 2 would be positive 3, 0, such that for any point on it, its distance from the foci differ by 4. Okay? So, you are given the features. You are going to look for the standard equation. Okay. But the features are the following. The given features are the following: foci. We have also given here distance from the foci differ by 4. More likely, this is equivalent for our 2a. Okay? If you are going to review the features, ito yung formula or value kapag merong sinabing distance from the foci differ by. Again, the difference of the distance of the foci going to the point on the hyperbola is equivalent to 2a. Obviously, here the center would be 0. Okay. The focus or the foci are negative 3, 0, and then a positive 3, 0. More likely, our C is equal to 3. Because, di ba, foci, that is the that is C units from the center. So, more likely, our foci or the value for our C is 3. Okay? And then, given the distance from the foci differ by 4, we have our 2A. So, 2A is equal to 4. We can get our A, of course. So, A is equal to 2. So, we have our C. We have our A. We need to what? We need to solve for B. Okay, in order for us to solve for B, what would be used? What equation would be used? The equation would be B equals the square root of C squared minus A squared. So, substitute the value for your C. C squared, that is 9. Mat is your A squared, that is 4. So, your B is square root of 5. So, kompleto na. We have our A, we have our B. So, sila lang naman kasi yung kailangan natin para sa ating equation, no? So, since we have our A and we have our B, we are now going to find the equation of hyperbola. So, obviously, the center is at the origin. Okay? So, the next question there would be, is this horizontal or vertical? Patayo itong hyperbola or pahiga? You are going to look at the focus. Okay? Focus. As you can see, the location or yung value na meron sa ating focus is yung x-coordinate. Tama ba? X-coordinate tapos walang value sa y. This would simply mean that your focus is located on the x-axis. So, your focus is located on the x-axis. If your graph or hyperbola is located on the x-axis, that would simply mean your hyperbola would be horizontal. Pahiga. Pahiga yung hyperbola mo. It's because the location of your focus is on the x-axis. Kung nasa x-axis yung focus, natural, yung parabola mo, hyperbola mo is doon lang din siya nakalagay. No, yung graph niya doon lang din nakalagay. So, your hyperbola is horizontal. The equation for this is x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared equals 1. Okay? So, substitute the value of your a and b. So, we now have a squared over a squared natin is, yung a natin is 2, square mo siya. Y squared, ating b is square root of 5, square mo siya, equals 1. So, what do you think would be the final equation? So, the final equation would be x squared over 4 minus y squared over 5 equals 1. This is now the standard equation of your hyperbola.